Today we shall learn how to play Welcome 2, a 2+ player game with a solo variant. This game scales particularly well to any player count, as all players take their turns simultaneously. First, every player will need a score sheet. The score sheets contain a place to write your town's name, and houses to fill in numbers, as well as a scoreboard along the bottom. Each player can also receive one of the included player aids. Take the deck of construction cards. These have to be shuffled, and then split into 3 equal piles of 27 cards each. You can also eyeball this step for a quick setup, and just fix it as you get down to the last few cards. Place the 3 piles into the center of the table. You will also need the city plan cards. There are 3 number 1s, number 2s, and number 3s. You will not need the solo variant card in a 2 to more player game. Shuffle each type individually and take one at random. You will notice that they have a side with 1 number and a side with 2 numbers. At the start of the game, you will need the side with 2 numbers. These city plan cards are not specific to an individual player and have only been placed here so that you can see the entire setup of the game. With all of that done, you are now ready to begin. Draw the top card of each deck. Each player simultaneously must choose one of the numbers from the 3 that are visible. In this case, we have a 6, a 4, or a 10. You have to write a number. It is not optional. If you cannot write a number, then you must mark that you cannot write a number. Numbers must be placed in sequential order from the left to the right of the street. While you can skip numbers, you cannot say write 7 here and 5 here. In this case, I am going to write a number 4 in this house. That leaves me with the options of placing a 1 or 2 here, and a 2 or 3 here, while also knowing that the maximum number in the deck is 15, and I have plenty of room to include lots of numbers on the right-hand side. When you write a number, you can also optionally take the corresponding action of the number. In this case, it is a fence. That means I get to draw a fence on anywhere on the board. The fence does not have to be placed next to the house or even on the same street. It can be placed anywhere. The other corresponding actions along with fence that you may see in the game, where you will write the number and then fill out one of these squares along here. Bis or apartment, where you may write the number and then mark an adjacent house with the same number but B. However, you must also cross out that you have used one of your bises, which is a negative point at the end of the game. There is construction, which lets you adjust a number by 0, 1, or 2, up or down. So for example, a 6 can become a 5. You then also mark one of your constructions, which is bonus points at the end of the game. There is the pool, which lets you fill in the pool of the corresponding house you wrote it in. Has to be the house that you wrote the number in. And you get to mark off pool bonus points for the end of the game. Finally, the park lets you cross off one of the parks on the same street. For example, on this street has some parks up here. Parks are also bonus points at the end of the game. Once all players have chosen their number and optionally executed the action, flip over the top card of each deck to reveal the next set of numbers and actions. You will notice that the cards also have a preview of the action that is on the other side, and can let you slightly plan ahead. If any of the decks run out, you reshuffle and create a new deck. If at any point you cannot place a house, for example, if none of the numbers will possibly fit in what you have already placed, then you must mark off one of the 3 hexagons at the bottom. Once all 3 hexagons of any one player have been filled in, the game ends. Or, if any one player fills all the houses, the game ends. Or, if any one player completes all 3 city plans, the game ends. I will not discuss how all the city plans work, But for example, this one requires you to build 7 constructions, in which point the first player to do it gets 6 points, and any subsequent players gets 3 points. You can flip over these cards to show that one player has already done them. This is to complete all the pools in 2 streets for 7 and 4 points. This is for fenced off regions. You must have at least a 1, 2 2s, and a 3. A fenced off region, for example, like that, is a 1, with all the numbers filled in and fences on either side. The ends of the streets automatically count as fences. Once any of the 3 endgame conditions have been met, the game ends and players add up their scores. This is an example sheet, and you can see my wife and I playing that game on my other channel, linked in the description below. You can see that I added the points for my city plans, I took the number of the parks that I had filled in, the number for the pools, I had the most constructions out of the game. Any fenced-in regions get counted towards your real estate. For example, I had 2 fenced-in regions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And had marked off some of the purple sections here for 4 points for each 6th filled in region, for 24 points total. I did not use any BIS, but I did end the game by being unable to place any houses, which was -5 points, for a total of 94 points. Welcome To is a super light, super simple, and very user-friendly game. I highly recommend it. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial, and if you would like to see an actual playthrough of this game, please check the description below. Consider subscribing for more quick and easy board game tutorials, and I will see you next time.